Hello and welcome to our first ever Look Back live show. As you can see, we are here at sunny Priestfield Stadium after yesterday's 1-0 win over Crawley Town. The Brad Gallison train just keeps steaming on, doesn't it? As Neil Harris's men walked away with all 3 points, as captain Sean Williams sent that Raynham into raptures and sent 9,500 Gills fans home happy. This afternoon, we're going to talk all things Gillingham. Join us for the next. Hello, welcome back to the ME7 Look Back Live podcast. As you can see, next to me is my co-host Owen Stanley, and joined by Luke Tedgen and Matt Olsen. Boys, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What a venue! What a venue to come and do our first ever Look Back Live.
It's not bad, is it? Especially we were just saying before we went live, there's 9,500 out here on this glorious Priestfield yesterday, and now we've all got it to ourselves. It's quite a surreal moment to be doing a podcast like this. It's very good.
Luke, how are you?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you after yesterday?
Brilliant. I say, coming back to Priestfield yesterday with 9,500 people here was bringing back since kind of memories from when I was a kid. But yeah, great for the community, great for the team, and another 3 points. Yeah,
Matt, and you?
Yeah, great. It was an amazing day yesterday. I came with my dad, who hasn't been to a Gills game in absolutely forever. Just what an experience. He thoroughly enjoyed it and just couldn't stop talking about it all evening, which was great. We've got our club back.
Yeah, we have got our club back. We're obviously going to talk about yesterday's win then. First off, we made quite hard work of it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think we've seen in the past, haven't we, where we have big crowds come to Priestfield. It's not always the glamorous football that we'd perhaps expect it to be in terms of having a massive crowd and hoping that equates to a wonderful performance on the pitch. First half, I know we're all sure. We can look back now after the win and think we were a bit lucky perhaps in that first half at Crawley, weren't able to press home the advantage in terms of the chances that they created in the first half. It was quite tough for us to maintain any sort of attacking fluidity to our play. We were pushed back quite a lot. Neil Harris alluded to that in his post-match interview, saying the gap between the strikers and the centre halves was far too big, and we spent quite a lot of the first period on the edge of our box, which was quite reminiscent of the second half last week against Swindon Town. So in that sense, we can count ourselves a bit lucky in the first half that we didn't end up falling behind, but at the same time we missed a great chance through Dom Jeffrey. So a lot of people watching as a neutral probably thinking that game 0-0 at half time, it could well have been 4-4 really, but such is the way of the game in that first half.
Luke, agree with that?
Yeah, I think obviously the first half, the last 20-25 minutes, we was definitely under the cosh. Obviously my tweet at half time went out like an absolute lead balloon and sitting there eating my words a little bit, but yeah, we were lucky not to be kind of 1-0, 2-0 down, but then obviously on the other side of the pitch, Dom Jeffrey's missed an absolute sitter as well. So completely agree with everything you've said there. But yeah, it was a game of two halves, as they say.
Yeah, but second half we came out like an absolute steam drain, didn't we? We pinned Crawley back, and it must have been Neil Harris's words, because they come up absolute firing at Crawley.
Absolutely, he said in his post-match interview, he didn't, go in and shout and rant and rave at them, but he did give them some home truths, and I really think because of Glenn Morris, that's the reason why we went in 0-0 at half time. Big shout out to him. I think he pulled off a couple of really big saves. There was a couple of times in that first 3 minutes, they should have scored. And the Dom Jeffries chance was unfortunate. Had it fallen to Tom Nichols, you could have put your house on it, but Dom Jeffries, obviously, unfortunately, he's put it wide. But that second half, something snapped, obviously, at half-time with these players, and we saw true quality. And I generally believe, You know, if we played like that from the first half, then we wouldn't have just won 1-0. It would have been a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not many times do we see this place full, but it was excellent to see yesterday, wasn't it? Such a big crowd supporting the team.
Yeah, we were talking in the week, weren't we, about the initiative that Brad and Shannon have put on, the Pay What You Like offer, and the benefits that it has for, you know, a club like this, and building that gap, or lowering the gap between the club and the community in terms of bringing a whole new generation of Gillingham fans in. You know, there'll be people, I'm sure, who were here yesterday, kids who've never been to a game here before, maybe not a football game in general, and, you know, they've been sent home happy, and hopefully that's a good way of using that initiative to make sure that they come back again, and that's what it's all about. And obviously, you know, when we played the likes of Leicester, you expect a big crowd for that, just for the spectacle that it is of playing a Premier League side when you're in League Two. But these are the games you want people to turn up to consistently and see a reason to come back. I think we did that. There's a lot more in depth for that. For example, you know, the food outlets yesterday, there was a lot more on offer than I've seen in quite a while. Just little things like that all equate towards a bigger goal, a bigger perception of what we can be as a club, with giving people reasons to come back. This obviously, you know, winning the game helps as well. Obviously, I think it would have been a bit more disappointing for all these people who haven't been before had we not got the result yesterday, but we did do that, and it's another sign of something that, you know, given it puts perspective, doesn't it, how long Brad and Shannon have been here and the difference they're making already to, you know, they said in the first interview, I think, that they were really big on community, and, you know, they're putting the words to action, and it's coming to good fruition with us for the attendance we got in yesterday, and hopefully, as Neil was saying yesterday as well, it gives people more of a reason to come back, and hopefully the win obviously helps that as well, and we can see these gates a bit more full, more consistently for the rest of the season and beyond. Yeah,
I was when I was walking out the ground yesterday, the amount of people I sort of heard around me that said, "Oh, yeah, did you enjoy that? Oh, do you want to come back next week or whenever the next home game is?" And they were like, "Yeah, we'll come back." And that's what it's all about, isn't it, Luke? That not only is the football right on the pitch, it's the whole sort of match day experience, isn't it? It's that has to be right sort of off it to entice people back into the football club.
Yeah, and I think we seem a million miles away from the out of date lager that we experienced at the beginning of the season. So, yeah. What really got to me was the amount of kids that were here yesterday. You know, there was, I think Fish tweeted out earlier on this morning as well, the sheer number of kids that they're the next generation of fans, and if they're kind of getting their parents, and it's all about costs, obviously. Like, let's say, you know, it's a cost saving exercise for families to come, but like, you enjoy the game, you've got a good match day experience, you're going to continue to come in and, let's say, for a family of four, what's it going to cost? 60, 80 quid, plus your drinks, plus your food. It's a big expense, and I think that's something that the Gallantons have said, what Owen just said, all about the community. They know we're going through a cost of living crisis, and they've done everyone in not just in Gillingham, in Medway, the favour to come and watch their team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not only about that as well, it's about the community as a whole, isn't it? Is that obviously Brad mentioned about the community side of it, and the fact that Kent is such a big catchment area, pulled him right into the football club. I think the Gallantons saw the power of it yesterday, wasn't it? Is that certainly that rain meant it was pretty loud.
I mean, we're lucky we're not a city like Manchester or a city like Liverpool that have got two big teams. There is only one real big team in Kent, and that is Gillingham. I'm sorry to anyone that supports any other team.
You're not sorry. They're not sorry.
But there is such an untapped potential, and if you look at at the players that have come from Kent that have gone on to do bigger things. And we're not talking, back in the 80s or the 70s. We're talking recently. Some of the players that have come through, and we've just let them go because we've not had that draw. But yet, I'm starting to feel that the club is getting that draw back. People are wanting to come for the project. George Lapsley is not coming to Gillingham Football Club to sit on the bench, is he? He's not coming to sit on the bench. But he's obviously come and realised that there's a project here, and it's not just a project that's going to happen out on that football pitch. It's a project that's going to happen within the entire community. Because, I saw a young boy walk into the shop with his dad yesterday at his first game, and his dad walked out with a brand new Jill shirt. you know, and that boy was so happy, and that boy's going to now be a Gills fan, and in 30 years' time he'll be sat here doing a podcast or probably some virtual reality thing that's going to happen. But you know, and that is why, you know, ultimately why football clubs exist. It's not because, you know, you're bringing through these youth young fans that are going to give us new, you know, joy on the terraces and cheer the future players that are going to grace this pitch. And look, at the end of the day, football clubs will not exist without fans. Football club is about the fans, and you need to engage them and get them all here. And
I think if you saw it at the end of the Rainham ends after the 90 minutes, when you see Brad and Shannon walking down towards the boardroom, what the fans were sitting there singing for 5-10 minutes their name, and they're there waving their scarves. They just get it, don't they? That's the way you can sum up. They get it. Yeah. And it's brilliant.
And you know, look. The easiest thing for any football club to do is go to schools, because you know go to junior schools, go to primary schools, get schools involved with the football club. I know Gills have got their own school here, but get all the local schools, and then that will start giving you some fans. And you know, look, most young kids when they're growing up, you know, they're going to watch, you know, Man United on TV, they're going to watch Liverpool, but the thrill of coming to a live game here at Priestfield Stadium, and especially with the atmosphere yesterday, that's going to hopefully bring them back.
I think Brad and Shannon, they've capitalised on like what you said, Matt. I know I don't think you said it as a joke, but we are the biggest and only club in Kent, and that's not like a dig at anyone else. It's just factual. We're the only EFL club, and I think in recent years we've, as a club, not made anywhere near enough of that. You know, people can make the argument we're near London, you know, West Ham, Arsenal, whatever else, but in terms of being the only Football League club in the county, it's quite a bit of an anomaly. That's the one, anomaly really. And it's something that Brad and Shannon have clearly caught on to very quickly, and they're very keen to make the most of that. You know, in recent years, we've not really seen it. We've, you know, had offers here and there, but it's all sort of been, you know, a bit of nothing really, hasn't it? There's never really been that clear intent from the club to the fans to show that we're the only Football League club in this county, and we're going to make something of that, because really we are still well below our station, I think, in terms of the potential that we have here, and we have had here for many years. We've just not really delved into it, and it's been a case of we've sort of been, before the Gaddington era, I've said it a few times, we've sort of been just sort of floating towards obscurity. You know, last season was a real eye-opener for a lot of people, and obviously, you know, no one expected this season to go as it has done up until pre-Gaddington era anyway, and you know, thankfully we got that sorted and we're beginning to turn it around. But I think it was a bit of an eye-opener, perhaps, Luke, to not just the owners but to fans as well, that seeing the difference they've made, and makes fans realise again that there is just huge potential at this club, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think if you remember years ago as well, obviously me and Matt got a little bit on you, but when we was at school, just a little bit. I used to remember, obviously I went to the Howards, and they used to do the summer school for like 2 weeks. I don't know if they still do that, but you can still see a range of players from 11 to 16 through them sort of routes. But yeah, I think we've definitely missed the trick, especially with like local lads again, like Chris Smalling, Ross Boyd, people like, and it's we've just missed the trick. But I think, as Harris has said, looking to sort of talk about the past and looking to the future, I think you know, main thing now is obviously keeping up in the league, which I'm sure we're going to do. But yeah, them things about the community and stuff like that is only got to be in the locker for them. Like all the kids, all the free tickets they used to give to the schools. I don't know if they're still doing that, but again,
yeah, they are.
Yeah, but if we're still doing that, it gives the adults tickets. But there's so much opportunity. So much opportunity that they can tap into, and they've got, lucky enough, obviously Paul Scally didn't have the finances to do it, but they have, and if they want to lose a little bit, like they did on the tickets on Saturday, probably gained it back in hospitality, but they're willing to lose it to gain further fans, which is brilliant.
I mean that is the one thing. I mean, this is a whole completely different subject we could get onto, but obviously with the cost of living crisis, with the fact that most tickets now are 20-25 quid, it is quite expensive, and as you said, it is an expensive day out. And I think the clubs are limited to only doing, like, is it two promotions a year, and I think that's a shame that they should take that out of the hands, you know, of the Football League, and let the club do whatever they want. Because what's more important, you know, selling out your stadium, or just getting, you know, only a quarter of the people turn up because you're charging too much for your tickets? If the tickets were slightly fairer price, and I must say, I think the Gills initiative of the under-14s go free with a paying adult, that does make things a little bit more bearable. So again, hopefully, you know, parents that came yesterday are thinking, yeah, okay, I can go back, just me and my son will go back, or me and my daughter will go back, you know, because it's not going to, might only cost me 20 quid, but then she's coming for free. brilliant. But you know, I do think in terms of you know the cost of the tickets, they are, you know, quite expensive, and it can become a very expensive habit, football, unfortunately.